Hi, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Langers and I am the Scruffy Trader. And what I'm about to show you is something I do every single morning, or every morning I'm at the screens anyway. And I post it up for the Telegram group, and once a week I put it out public for you guys. And it's basically just my little ramblings of the markets. So let me get into this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The first thing I do every morning that I'm going to work is I do an overview of the strengths. Now the sheet you're seeing, if you've never seen it before, is nothing to do with direction. It is only to do with movement. And what it works out is, it's kind of taking an average over the last couple of days, sees what the change of strength is, which is the part that I'm most interested in, which is here. And then it tells me the strongest and the weakest currencies. Because it makes perfect sense that you pitch a strong currency against a weak currency, because of the difference it will move. Now it doesn't mean to say that because a currency is strong, it is going to increase. It could be strong at the end of that line. And likewise, if a currency is weak, doesn't mean to say it's going to drop. It is an indicator, but it's also a sign that people find value in it. So it could be actually the tipping point. So you've got to be a bit careful with things like that. Anyway, so let's get into this and have a little look at what we are seeing. Excuse me, it's morning, very chesty this morning. Had a bit of a heavy night last night after having a spectacular couple of days. So the coffee is well in order today. Anyway, as you can see, the movement down here is different to the one above. Now the Aussie is definitely gathering pace. It really is. And we'll have a look at it on the charts in just a second. And you can see that here. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at things like this. What it had done over the last couple of days. And what direction that strength's moving in. And it's pushed it to the top of the tree. So the Aussie is definitely very strong. And the US, as you can see, is losing ground. Bit odd. The dollar's taken a royal pounding over the recent days and weeks, but it's not the weakest. You know, for all it's the weakest on the chart, its change is moving up the scale. So I do kind of keep an eye on that. Okay. Following on from this, what it does is it just gives you a quick snap of strongest versus the weakest, and that's pretty explanatory. There's the Aussie, the strongest. There's the weakest, which is there, and it gives me the top three. And then I have a heat map that then works out whether or not I'm potentially going to look at it that day. It's really just a filter, and it helps me filter down the 28 pairs that are available to me. I mean, there's loads of markets, and if you don't have filters, you'll just be at it all day. So this quickly identifies some potentials that I can look at. And it's a green light, red light situation. In other words, I want a green and a red together. And if they are, I'll look at it. So that's the strength that I'm looking at. If you can't work it out yourself, because that's what I do, I like to look at it myself. You can use a website called FinViz. It's this one that's on the screen. There's a link for it in the description if you can't find it. And what you do is just scroll yourself onto the Forex tab just here, and it will give you a heat map very similar to mine. And it's worked out on 5-minute, hourly, daily. My strengths are all based on daily. and then it'll give you a scale of strength as well. So US the weakest, and the Aussie and the New Zealand are pretty much the strongest. So my figures aren't that far out. Okay, so this is a nice easy tool to use, shall we say. And then following on from that, I then have a quick look at the economic calendar to see what is possibly going to spike the market today. There's not a lot around today apart from the ADP unemployment, or employment report rather, for the US at 1:15 this afternoon. So advice there: if you're in a market, be very wary. If you're not in a market, let the news announcement come, see what happens, and then trade the aftermath. Okay, so nice easy way to look at the markets, and it's a systematic way of getting into the markets as well. And what I mean by that is, this means that you're taking a few minutes to have a look around and pick a good market. You see, one of the keys with trading, you can trade a single market over and over. And when you're just starting, it's something I would kind of recommend rather than trying to jump from market to market. Simply because when you're on a single market, it'll limit the amount of trades you take because you have to wait for your setups. And that waiting teaches you patience, and patience is what will make you the money. Simple as that. And you'll hear me say that quite a lot. So what am I looking at here? Well, of the markets that it's pulled out, I lay my charts out pretty much the same all the time. I do have what I call a window of the world, and that window of the world is predominantly the same markets over and over, and I have them laid out together so I can quickly look at the usual suspects. And this is sort of where I look at my indices and the stocks, the commodities, ETFs, whatever it is that I fancy. And I will keep an eye on this, because one of these 8 usually brings a signal at least once a day. Okay, but today, when I'm looking at my sheet, I'm looking at these 3, and I'm looking to see what they can offer me. Now, the easiest thing to do is I pre-mark my charts. That's what all these lines are. They're just key levels of attraction, and then I'll watch them as they go. The Kiwi dollar is now sitting on a level, so I'll be watching this over the course of the morning to see how it reacts. And if I see a rejection, there'll be a good opportunity on this, because if you can see the drive, it's drived up, it's pushed back, it's had another drive, but it's now on here. So if this holds this level, there's a high probability it'll get into the middle and then work its way up to the top. So there's good opportunities between these 2 levels. If it fails, then there's a good opportunity to get to the base of this level. And why is that? Because that's the last swing. There's been a swing there, brush the bottom of that. So if that comes down and closes under there, you've got a good opportunity to get between here and here. And it's just systematically working your way through to see if you can find some pips. Nice and simple. Come down onto the US Swissy. This one's going to be a bit of an odd market today, and I'll show you for why. This is as low as it's ever been, and the last time it was here was when this event was happening. Now that was the unpegging, but prior to that, you're going back 6-7 years to these levels. So you've got to ask yourself, how far can this go down? Now, if it continues to plunge, it is all the way down here, and that is a mighty big gap, and that happened 2011, so that was a long time ago. Now, the markets do have a memory, but you're looking 10 years back, and it's whether it's going to push through. So if it is, this is my next level that I'm putting in, which is 8652. It's not showing signs of slowing down, not really. So it's a bit of an odd market to watch, and as you can see, that is about as down a trend as you can get. Take it onto a daily and it is still going. So again, this is a good level of interest, looking into the middle, because it is breaking the levels. Nice and simple. And that's all trading is. Trading is nice and simple. You know, you're just breaking it down and seeing what's in front of you. And then you've got the Aussie dollar, which is the strongest against the weakest. Just push that out a little bit. And again, it has gone through the levels. It's at the halfway point. So I actually want to see a little bit of a retracement on this before I'll consider entering it. I like to enter in and around the level. Reason being, it's a logical point for a reaction. Very, very simple. And once I've picked it, I'll sit, I'll analyze them, have a good idea of what it is I want to achieve, and then I wait. Simple as that. So, best of luck in what you're doing today, guys. These are the markets I'll be kind of watching on and off throughout the day. If they work, brilliant. If they don't matter. You know, it's as simple as that. Money can be made sitting on your hands. Now, what do I mean by that? You don't have to trade all the time. You're better off waiting for the perfect setup. At the moment, it's pretty slim pickings across the board. I'll have to wait pretty much most of the day to get in. And if I trade once, brilliant. If I trade twice, amazing. If I trade 3 times, pretty rare, you know, because I don't chase the markets. So I'm going to enjoy the coffee, watch the charts, and best of luck. And as always, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.